So if you come down here on our page, scroll down a bit, and you will see the reality checks link. Click on that, and you will see here is the video about the nursery rhymes. And like I said, it goes through all of them: Humpty Dumpty, Three Blind Mice, and quite a number of them, and their histories and how they came to to be in our everyday. I think my internet is not working here, unfortunately. But anyways, check it out. Hey Omar. Okay, so so after that, I noticed. Let's see here. So there is from Mel Horror Productions. There's also a new video here as well. This is the Lego Batman 76119 Batmobile, and it's a speed build. Just gonna make it bigger here. It goes through Batman, who was created from magic. The Joker. This is like the classic Joker. So this video is only about 2 minutes long, and it's pretty neat. So you can see how all the parts fit together. Now I'm not entirely sure about how all of this is sort of morphed. There's some kind of editing program that is being used to almost make in-betweens every time a Lego brick is added. So we got the chassis being built up. I think there was like one mistake in there. I think one brick was added and then removed. So it's kind of cool that the mistake is in there. And then you can see it looks like it's growing, almost like it's coming out of being formed out of clay or something. But it's definitely hard bricks. So let me so if I pause it, see if I can pause it here. So I'm going to pause it, and then if we go back some frames, so you see the fins. So like I said, I don't really know how this is done, but I think it has to do with some sort of in-betweening, so to speak. It's really a neat effect. So it's very cool. So, you know, it's like a pixelation of that being put together. So if you guys would like to subscribe, let me open up here. So it is from Mel Horror Productions, and we've seen this before. I'm subscribed. I imagine most of you guys might be subscribed as well. But very impressive. So cool. Alright, and then let's go back here. So then Content Monster. Now I don't know if Content Monster is, I'm, you know, assuming that this is like a media company or public relations company. But they did post this video, which is neat. And so it says here, Sledgehammer for the 23rd century, medium blending nostalgic stop motion head trip. So I'm not going to play the audio because I'm sure that I'll get a copyright strike from YouTube, unfortunately. But we can watch some of this and you can sort of get a taste of what this is like. And so if you want to see it, it's called Big Data Unglued Official Music Video on YouTube. And the channel is Big Data. And the visuals are really nice. I think what they've done here is some sort of digital colorization of things. Like I think that, for example, let me go back here. So you'll notice that so there's always like this color shift of colors. Let's go back. There we go. So if I go frame by frame, you'll notice that the colors go from green, we have pink, we have sort of turquoise, and green. And it changes, it seems like once per frame almost. Now with the YouTube algorithms, I'm not really super sure about that. But I think what they've done is they just use some sort of green clay here and then digitally just, you know, alter the colors. There's pink. So that happens throughout the entire video. And yeah, I mean it's sort of like the nostalgic Sledgehammer. It's not a, you know, a one-to-one copy, shot for shot, but pretty nice. So we have lots of cutouts, and so the artist, you know, has his lips are being photographed and probably printed out. Some of the nostalgic tech from long ago, maybe like 10 years ago. I know they also use things like floppy disks in here and that kind of thing. But really impressive. And I don't know if this is, you know, how much of it is digital, but it seems like most of it is actually animated. And you can see that they even stuck mouths on his own head of himself as cutouts. And animated him as pixelation, and then we have some cassette tapes. So this is very much like, I mean, you would see something like this on MTV in the late 80s, maybe early 90s. I think Sledgehammer came out in the mid 80s sometime. And little history for you guys. So Nick Park actually animated a lot of the clay animation in that video, the original from Peter Gabriel. And sure, what is it, Amy? Feel free to say anything you like. Hey, Whiskey's here too. I just realized that. But he deleted his message. So yeah, this is really neat. I just think that so we got Asheville Clay in there. You know, this is stuff that most people kind of shy away from these days and go for purely digital. So it's actually really refreshing. So Amy says, I have a Wii that I haven't played on for 5 years, and I hooked it up, and it works like it did when I last played it on it. Oh, that's cool. So you essentially you fixed it up, huh? That's neat. Yeah, you know, we've got a Wii as well. I haven't played that in, man, it's been so long. It's been forever. But yeah, if it works, you know, hold on to that. One day, especially when you get older, you'll look back at that and you know, want to play it again just to see what it was like to play those games. So this video is really cool, and I guess I'm not going to show the whole thing, even though it's, well, I guess, you know what, it's almost done, so we can. But what do you guys think? I mean, it's, you know, it's very creative. I mean, we can go frame by frame here at the end, actually, and kind of see, you know, we've got what looks like almost like they use pastels, and perhaps like a black light or something, just to get the vividness of each redrawn frame here. So like every frame is different in some way. But again, I'm pretty sure they use digital just to get the colors to change and shift. This particular frame looks like it's shot on film almost. Oh, my internet. So Amy says, I have to get a replacement sensor bar, then I'll get some games and play on it. Cool. Yeah, those things are the things that everybody loses when they pack their Wii away, is the sensor. Because it's small. But anyway, we will leave with this frame, and very, very creative. I really like this. And so again, if you guys want to watch this yourself, it's Big Data Unglued official music video. And I'm going to click on their channel just to see. So it looks as though they have a number of videos. And they've been around for about a year. Perhaps, maybe longer. These are just the featured videos. I don't know if this is stop motion, and it's not. Okay. All right. So anyway, thank you for posting that, sir. Content Monster, or ma'am. I'm not sure who actually, if that's a man or a woman. Could be either. All right. So, okay, a whiskey. So now it's time for feedback week. Now we've only had one posting, and then so of course Brian posted in here, and he was talking again about his potential for a storyboard challenge for the nursery rhymes. And again, if anyone would like to undertake that, that's fine. And so we have here. Dirty Red had posted this, and let's see what it says. Oh, I think I already opened it actually. Let me see. I guess I didn't. Okay. So it says here, stop motion animation test with character with the wonderful Akira Blankhead from upuno.com or upuno.com. How do you say it? So what we're gonna do, let's actually check it out. This might be something cool. In fact, I believe I did show this at one point, but let's check it out. So we have some context for what he's done. And so this is Up Uno. And they have armature kits, it looks like, and we've got these heads, which, okay, I remember all this stuff. So says, we are a small studio based in Cambridge, United Kingdom. We design and manufacture armatures, rigs, and other components for stop motion animation. We also make bespoke puppets and action figures. We love what we do and put every effort into ensuring you love it too. So here's some of their work. So they've got actual ads and whatnot. And if we go to the shop, see if we can find these heads first. Body parts. Here we go. So here are the heads. They've also got hands. And they have a replacement face system with magnets. They have eyeballs, ears, and eyelids. So essentially you can just like put together your own character. So this head says Akira 101 Blankhead is a character head specifically designed for use in stop motion animation, enabling easy face replacements and eyes, eyelids movement. It connects painlessly to armatures using a single screw included, and it comes with lots of amazing features which will make animating an enjoyable experience. To help you design your character with Akira 101 Blankhead, we've created a PDF, so you can download it here. So they give examples of what it could look like painted. So we got some clay hair on there. The eyes have been painted, and some brows stuck on, perhaps a replacement mouth. So I don't know if this would be really like an advantage to. Well, I guess it could be because the lids are kind of cool. The way that they had the lids on there, you can make blanks. But if you cover the face up with a a mask, it's almost like you're defeating the purpose of having kind of replacement mouths on there. So that's kind of strange. But here's another one. So it's really cool. Hey, Randy, and what's going on? Alright, so anyway, that's the replacement face that he used. And so, of course, if you want to subscribe, this is FOG Animations. And so let's play it. And this does not have any sound, by the way, so if you guys are wondering. Okay, so first thing we could probably talk about is the setup that's going on here. So we've got, as you can see, there's this rig which is holding the puppet up. And it's on a table that's obviously it's smooth. We've got green screen in the background. And the puppet itself, it has, let's look at this real quick. So we've got the hands, they're probably latex or silicone. Or I wonder if that's, let me see something here. They're actually selling hands on this site. Let me look. Okay. So these hands are they're actually different. Okay. I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't looking at one of their hand setups here. So the hands are probably like latex. It looks like they were made by. It's really hard to tell. But we've got some blue jeans and some shoes. The shoes appear to be clay. Oh, the hands might actually be clay. I bet that's what it is. That would kind of make sense, right? Right? Because the shoes are. Now we've got the wire that comes out of his back. And that's a pretty smart place to put it. So if I were, the first thing I would say looking at this is that if you were going to do this yourself, or improve on this, the best thing to do would be to have that wire kind of come and loop behind his body from this point, and then come around as a U shape behind the backpack. So you got to kind of think like if you're going to use this for an actual film. So you'd have this wire that's always right there. Now, of course, you know, this isn't actually being used as a shot in a hero film or a hero shot for film. But, yeah, so what you'd want to do is try to hide this wire as best as you can. Now, from the side, it's kind of hidden because it's from this particular point of view, the wire comes underneath. And you could digitally erase that in this particular frame. But as he turns, so that wire goes in front of the backpack. So that would be bad, right? So if this were like a pop through or something like that, if you were working on a feature film and you were doing this as a test, this would actually be a great test to reveal, you know, how you could set up this rig to properly hide it. So he kind of stops and he pauses and he looks. Let's play it again. So the other thing now I notice is that the feet tend to shift quite a bit when he first is animated. And this is the problem with going with a rig to hold your puppet up. Sometimes tie downs look, you know, a lot nicer because the feet are firmly planted and it looks like the feet are actually attached, or not attached, but, you know, firmly planted on the ground. That being said, maybe he doesn't want to drill holes in his nice table, which is very understandable as well. So there are reasons for doing that. But that would be something that could be improved as well. Animation-wise, it's great though. I think that the timing is really well, you know, thought out, and so he kind of, you know, he's kind of adjusting his backpack. Maybe when he does this one move, there could be a slight animation where the backpack moves up a little bit as he's coming down, so it looks like there's weight to it. That's another thing. So as he comes up, so I get the idea. It's like, this is a heavy backpack, and I'm gonna, make it go up. And as I come down, it's gonna reseat on my shoulders. Let's see here, wait. Yeah, so like right here. So it's at the peak and the height of the motion. So as he comes down, there should be like maybe 1 or 2 frames of the backpack still in the air. So that'd be the only thing there, but it's probably, I mean, it might not be possible for that to be done just by the way that the backpack is attached to the puppet, so that's understandable. So Amy, let's see, so Amy says, I might want to do stop motion. I have 2 types of characters, 1 human and 2, one human, 2 Trian. Or Trian. 2 Trian. So what do you mean by that? Or like, so you got just the ideas in your mind, or you've actually made puppets? That'd be cool. He kind of stops. He looks. So it's like he's out in the woods and he's sightseeing in some ways, Like, maybe there's a bird over here or something. No, there's somebody watching me. So anyways, yeah, the positives on this, I mean, everything looks great. The backpack looks really nicely made. The clothing on this puppet is awesome. The miniature camera is really cool too. And the rig itself, it looks, I'm not sure where that's from. If it's hand built, it looks pretty amazing. I would suggest that instead of using tape here, to use some sort of like square brass tubing. Just kind of slide that over the end and then have a connection point there, just to make that more sturdy than tape. Although it seemed to work. Oh, you have 2D puppets. Gotcha. Well, that's cool. I mean, 2D puppets are always fun to animate. Do you have a camera? If you've got a camera, you can use some free software. There's what is it called? I always promote it on here. It's called Heron, Heron stop motion, and you can use it on a PC. But there's a ton of free ones on for iPads and things like that as well. And I think an iPad or like an iPhone or any kind of phone really would be more suited for down shooting for 2D animation. Oh, okay. So you made them out of paper. That's cool. And you borrowed your mom's. Well, that's nice. Yeah, I mean, if you want to try animating, just give it a shot and maybe upload it to YouTube or something, and we could watch it on our show. Okay, so now I wanted to show you guys a few things that I found online. And so there's some news out there, as well as something that I think might interest a lot of you who are into making music. Now, there's a program called FL Studio out there, which is a very expensive program that most people use who want to, compose a song for making a rap song or something with a beat, maybe trap music or what are different things that they call it. Yeah, sure, Amy. So it says here, LMMS is a free digital audio workstation similar to FL Studio. You can download it on Windows, Linux, and Mac here. So I found this, and so there's a whole tutorial that's from TJ Free, and so if you guys have ever used digital programs like Maya, you'll know that they call, for example, Blender the digital or the poor man's Maya, right? Because you can pretty much do almost the same stuff in Blender now that you can do in Maya. So this is sort of similar. Of course, other programs like Krita are very similar to Photoshop but free, right? So this is the audio version, and it seems like it's pretty good. I've not downloaded it before, and I just found this yesterday. But there's a lot of similarities to FL Studio, which I did download, and this is one example where you can see that you can. Let's do this.
This little part of the song. If we want to see, let's close out of this. Here's when it gets later on to this other part of the song. There's a different melody, or there's a melody actually, which is a different instrument. Has a different sound to it.
Okay, so what you do is you just click on these little rows and then select which note on the piano you want to play, and it will just loop it over and over again. Or you can download, for example, if you want an orchestral composition, you can get actual orchestral clips and then plug them in here and then have them play as you like. And what this is great for is that you can use this to make your own music for your films and use different libraries to get different effects and tones and things that like if you want a very dark song, you could have certain horror type loops and things like that you can stick in there, or a very light and upbeat song, and like maybe there's some sort of like a fairy in your film and it's got a very magical tone. Doesn't really matter. It's just a blank slate. And so you can find it at lmms.io, which is a really weird address, I realize. Oh, hey Tim. Tim says, thanks for reviewing our test. Yes, the hands were clay. Okay. I wasn't sure at first. And 24 frames per second. Realized later that the backpack didn't move. Thanks for the positive feedback. FOG Animations will be posting another video soon. Cool. Yeah, I mean, it's really good. I mean, I'm just trying to, I'm picking it apart, I realize. But, hopefully it will help you improve a little bit. But otherwise, it's really good. So this program here, like I say, it's free, and it's got, it does have tutorials as well. So what it has is you can compose music on Windows, Linux, or Mac. You can sequence, compose, mix, and automate songs in one simple interface. Note playback via MIDI or typing keyboard. Typing keyboard, huh? Wonder what that means. Maybe that's like if you get a certain keyboard that you plug into USB or something. Not really sure. Unless they're just talking about the regular QWERTY keyboard. Anyways, consolidate instrument tracks using Beat plus Bassline Editor. Fine-tune patterns, notes, chords, and melodies using Piano Roll Editor. Full user-defined track-based automation and computer-controlled automation sources, and then import of MIDI files and Hydrogen project files, which I'm not really sure what that is either. No, Brian, it's not this is not a rebroadcast. We had not talked about this before. So it's got built-in 64-bit VST instrument support with 32-bit VST bridge, 16 built-in synthesizers including emulations of Roland, TB303, Commodore 64, and SID microchip, Nintendo NES and Game Boy, Yamaha OPL2 chip, and more. So I guess what they've done is they've tried to figure out how the chips work in those synthesizers and then make their own software do the same sort of sound somehow, which is interesting. So I mean, that might be great for video game music. Speaking of video games, right? So embedded Zin, add sub FX, polyphonic, so Mutilim Brawl. Mutelit timbrel? What is that? Alright, so there's so much stuff on here, I don't even know what it does. But it sounds really good, and I think probably, if they can keep it simple, that would be good for us simpletons. But anyway, it's got, so for people that don't understand it, like myself, they do have this documentation section. So it's got a getting started, manual wiki, which is in PDF, frequently asked questions, video tutorials, which would be something that I would probably use most. It's got a community, it's got a wiki. So really, it's got everything that you could possibly need in order to get this to work and to understand it. So yeah, so Jason's saying he's excited to compose his own original music for his project. And you said that your son is an accomplished piano player. That's cool. So I think there's a way to probably plug in a piano into your computer and use this. Although I don't really understand how that works. Like I say, I'm not a musician myself, so... But they've got a showcase as well. So I guess, people that have made different songs. I don't want to click any of these because I might blast you guys into the next universe. But they do have lots and lots of, samples you can try and listen to here. It looks like many albums, actually. So, take a listen. Maybe you guys would like it. And for sure, if you want to use it for making your own compositions, that's great. Alright. So, now... this is another one of those things that I can't play the audio because I'll get probably a copyright strike from YouTube. Get rid of this ad. So I found this on Hypebeast, and it's called Emotional Oranges Delivers New Visuals as a Claymation in a World of Anthropomorphic Fruits. And... what time is it? Okay, so they got a description. It says, rolling off its previous music video, Good to Me, which released last month, Los Angeles R&B duo Emotional Oranges has returned with new visuals, this time in the form of stop-motion animation. And it was directed by William Child, and it's humanized oranges in a world of anthropomorphic fruits. So yeah, it's kind of interesting, and you can see here that it's traditional Claymation, and they do kind of cut corners in a few spots. And let me see here. So I'm gonna click this on YouTube. So if you guys want to find this and also maybe subscribe to the channel, I'm not really sure if they're going to have more Claymation. It's from Emotional Oranges. That's the band. And they've got a emo. So it's almost like emo and oranges together. moranges.com. And it would be nice if they had some sort of behind the scenes pictures or anything here, but I don't think that they do. Store, no, it's not going to be in the store. Tour. General link. Let me see if there's anything here. And no, there's not. Oh well. That's too bad. I guess they're just, they're the band. They're the ones promoting it, and I can kind of understand. But you have a good soundtrack to go off of, so I'm sure that helped the artist to, come up with the plan for this. All right, now. So moving forward, so it turns out that there were rumors that Neil Gaiman is going to be creating a Coraline live action production, and the rumors have gotten to a point where everybody keeps, I guess, asking him, when is it coming out? When is it coming out? And so he's dispelling the rumors, and it says, Hollywood, namely Disney, has found itself in a bit of a rabbit hole, exploring live action adaptations of animated classics. So I guess, with their release of Lion King and Jungle Book and You know, it's like they just keep turning out all these. I think what was it? Aladdin was also live action. You know, which is really crazy. So people are afraid that, oh no, so now we're gonna turn Coraline into a live action film. And so Neil Gaiman says, if anyone has any ideas where this live action Coraline nonsense started, can you send me a link? All I can see is thousands of upset people who have apparently all heard it from each other. So have no fear, buttoned eyes are for Leica's carefully sculpted faces for stop motion animation and will stay that way. The writer, also known for his work on Amazon's Good Omens, Lucifer, and American Gods, quickly observed all the pushback towards a live-action remake of his dark family fantasy about a young girl's journey through a door where an idealized parallel world of her life exists. And he says, all I'm seeing is literally thousands of tweets from people going, no. I think it's had the opposite effect. If it had ever crossed anyone's mind, it hadn't. It would now not be a thing. So I can kind of understand that. So evidently people are like saying that certain people would be good at acting as Coraline. So it says here, okay, but hear me out. Natalia Dyer as Coraline in live action movie. So we'll click this picture. I don't know if she was doing this as a cosplay or something, trying to be like Coraline, right? It's kind of funny. But yeah, it's not going to happen, right? So anyway, those are the rumors out there. It's been dispelled. Yeah. So Brian says, there it is. Good Omens most likely started this. So anyways, now I did post this, I believe. So I posted this on Facebook about maybe 2 weeks ago. Did I show this to you guys last week? So they have all these puppets that they've restored from Ray Harryhausen. And it's all going to be going to, let's see here. So they're being restored for Ray Harryhausen's 99th birthday. And it says, next year you'll get a chance to see them in the flesh, so to speak, as they're set to go on display in the Scottish National Gallery of Modern Art in Ray Harryhausen, Titan of Cinema, the largest and widest ranging exhibit of Harryhausen's work ever seen. So I don't know if this will be a permanent exhibit, but let me do this real quick. Okay, so this is their website, and of course you had to live in Scotland to see this. But if anybody does live in that direction of the world, you might be interested to check it out. And so this is the building they will actually be in. Pretty awesome. And they've got, let's see here. Events, okay. I'm not sure if they actually have it listed on their site yet. See all events. And I guess it's not on there yet. It's not on their site, so this might be just the only place you can learn about it for now. But very nice. I guess what they've done is some artists have gone through and cleaned up the puppets and repainted them where it was needed and maybe patched some of the latex and whatnot. It's really great that these are actually being restored because they're if they're put into a museum, usually it's temperature controlled, humidity controlled, and that means that his puppets would be really safe, barring that like there's no fires or anything like that. But to be actually able to see these in person and whatnot would be just awesome. I know some of my friends have actually held some of these skeleton puppets from Jason and the Argonauts. I think that's where these were from. Yeah, Jason and the Argonauts from 1962. And these are probably some of the most famous puppets that he's created. And I don't know if they're going to have like Monty Joe Young in there. There might not be any puppets that are in really that great a shape today, unfortunately. But check it out. It seems like they really did a great job restoring these. I'm sure they try to remain true to the original puppets as they were when they were filmed before they got degraded. And I'm kind of curious if Screen Novelties had anything to do with the restoration, because they knew Ray personally and they were, they're really great artists. But they don't mention who actually restored it. It's one of my favorite puppets right there. So this Minotaur is from 1975. That's when I was born. I'm ancient. But and this is Vanessa Harryhausen with numerous models created by Ray Harryhausen. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2. I always get confused. Were there 6 or 7 total skeletons? I always thought it was 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. But anyways, here's the Cyclops. You can see the armature, what remains of the puppet. Unfortunately, there's no latex on him anymore. Brian says, film a walkthrough of that museum for VR. That would be great. And Jason says, I can only dream that stop-motion classics will become perpetual cash cows for their home studios like Disney has done. Yeah. That would be nice. I mean, it could happen. I think it just depends on... I think stop-motion needs to have a different style than what Leica's putting out there right now. That's the only thing. I think Leica is not really helping stop-motion with their very highly polished films, because you can't tell they're stop-motion. And so it loses its charm, which we've talked about on many previous shows. And a lot of people are not happy with that. Even just regular fans of animation don't seem to like it so much. So anyways, so White Monkey says, is latex the best material for realistic skin texture? Those puppets look awesome. So the Ray Harryhausen puppets did use latex. So in terms of the texture, so different materials behave differently. So clay is probably best for a skin texture in a general sense, but really the texture is only one part of it. So there's the materials reflect light differently. So if you have a hard plastic that's painted with like enamel paints or acrylic paints, the light will reflect in a shiny way, but silicone will have a sort of translucent look that can have too much translucency, so it looks like you're actually seeing through the puppet. So you had to add flocking to have the light reflect more closer to the surface of the silicone. And with clay, it's got a translucency which is probably about right for skin. So if you want to go with clay, that's probably best just for that particular one, narrow purpose. But if you want to have a durable puppet, you'd probably want to go with the formula of silicone. Silicone is also more... it's less likely to break down like latex. So if you have a latex puppet, a lot of times what they would do is they would wear white gloves, fabric gloves, so that the oils in their hands don't get on the latex, because that tends to degrade latex. So it really depends on what you're trying to do. Each material has positives and negatives. Like clay, for example, is very heavy. So Randy says, like most people, Ray Harryhausen was my inspiration, and I actually met him through Brock McDaniel, and I still got to sit next to Ray on a couch and show him fast food. So fun. Did he laugh at that, Randy? Because he had a good sense of humor. And Randy says, that happened 2 days after I met Will Vinton. It was a good weekend. That's funny. Yeah, Pinocchio. I haven't heard any updated news, Brian, unfortunately. But I'm sure there's going to be new, stuff coming out soon. That is going to happen. I did make a mention of that a few weeks back. That has gotten the go ahead. So Omar says, "How was the skin of the puppet in Corpse Bride made? It's so smooth." And that was silicone, and that was just a skin connected to an underskull, which had little flaps and mechanical parts, which moved through gears like a watch. But that was so when they sculpted that, what they did is they probably sculpted it, cast it in plastic, and then hand sanded it with finer and finer grits of sandpaper. And then from there, they probably made another mold, and then cast it so that they could make duplicates. And so Homer says, and I tried it with silicone, but you cannot paint silicone. And that's partially true. You can paint it, but you have to have the right kind of paints and also solvents and things like that to make the surface porous enough to adhere to the paint itself. So, and there's also ways to intrinsically put colorants in the silicone before it cures. Like acrylic paints will sometimes mix into silicones before they cure, so you can actually color things that way. But it also inhibits silicone in some ways, so you gotta experiment with it. Yep. So Amy says, "What if my train characters were stop motion and my humans were just on the camera?" Yeah, you can do that. You can mix them together, like Ray Harryhausen did that as well. He would take live action characters that were pre-filmed, and then the puppets would be overlaid or double exposed onto frames of film. It was a tricky process. They called it dynamation, and they used a lot of things over the camera which would black out certain parts so that the light wouldn't be exposed on the film, and they could film live action on one side of the film and then film a stop motion puppet by rewinding the film and exposing the other side to the light and then blacking off light on the other side. So, I mean, maybe we should have a show one day that explains how that's done. I've done it in the past, but it's been so long that. But the thing is now, like digital technology, you wouldn't really have to do that. So you could do that in Photoshop or Krita. But that's a complicated topic. But it's definitely possible for sure. Oh, there's something flying in my room here. Some kind of bug is in here. So anyways, Randy says that Ray laughed a lot and thoroughly enjoyed fast food. Well, that's good to hear. Yeah, I mean, he had such a great sense of humor and a positive sort of attitude and it seemed like he had that even when he was really old, which is kind of rare because most people, they get old, they get really cynical. Not him, which is really nice. But anyways, so Omar says that Pinocchio is being developed and Del Toro is making lots of calls here in Mexico. Cool. I'm sure there's a lot of really great stop motion animators down there in Mexico. John Ashley was one that I met in Portland, and he was definitely one of the best animators at Woven Productions, and he was Mexican. So let's see here. So yeah, Brian is saying diet while casting, and that's correct. So what you have is usually like a hard mold made from UltraCal 30. It could also be fiberglass. It could be smooth cast 65D. All kinds of materials you can use, and then when you cast your silicone, just put a drop or two of acrylic colorant in there, and then pour it in your molds, and that's really all there is to it. And yeah, there are pure pigments. Tinsol is one pigment. Tinsol, TINTS-ALL, and it's used for paints, stuff like that, like pigmenting, house paint. Even pastels are possible to use. I know that Ron Cole has tried to use pastels, and the problem with that is that it's hard to mix in to where it doesn't have that grainy sort of, like little blobs of pigment inside there. Yes, optical printers. And yeah, Gumby. I mean, Gumby could. I think there were some. Were there any live action shots in there? Um, so Amy says my two new puppets. I printed them out and then colored them. Cool. So Amy, one of the things that you might try is what are those things called that they look like thumbtacks, but they have two little brass. Uh, um, they're like rivets for paper. What do they call those things? Stationary. Man, what do they call those? I can't remember what they're called, but they sell them in like Office Depot. They're sort of like a brass looking nail, but the nail part is two flat pieces of metal that are sandwiched together, and then you stick it through a hole in your paper, and then you can bend out those little wires on the other side, and then you can use those as pivot points for your paper parts. So like if you have a shoulder that connects to an arm. Brads, okay, Randy, yeah. So you put a brad through the shoulder, and then it connects to the arm. So when you print them out, you try to design it so that like an arm has a little bit of extra length to it where it connects to another part, like the shoulder. And then the brad holds it together, and when you lay it flat and then you move the arm kind of moves in a natural way. Doesn't have to use those though. I mean, you can use it just by itself. So anyways, you guys can see what I have on screen here. It says here, this is on pri.org. It says, meet North Korea's bunny gang, cute animated rabbits who rain vengeance on their foes. And this is an audio story. I'm not going to play it, but if you guys are interested, it's pri.org. And if you want to Google it, it's just meet North Korea's bunny gang, and it should pop up. So PRI, meet North Korea's bunny gang. And so it says here, in North Korea, propaganda comes in many forms: valiant marching songs, colossal statues, and perhaps heroic anthropomorphic rabbits. So this is the first time I've ever heard of any stop motion in North Korea. It's always been South Korea. Let me tell you guys that one of the things, I don't know if you know this, but what North Korea does is Kim Jong Il, he or Un or Jong, I don't know. It says here, so like most original programming on North Korean TV, it was likely produced under the auspices of the Propaganda and Agitation Department directed by Kim Yo Jong, the sister of Kim Jong Un. Okay. So what they do, like if you guys ever visit South Korea and you are known as a stop motion producer or director, and I'm not making this up, what they sometimes do is they kidnap people in South Korea who are into making films, and then they bring them to North Korea. They feed them well, they take care of them, and they have them create animations and whatnot. So, I mean, we may never know who actually made these films. But it says here, just your everyday story of fluffy bunnies beating the crap out of a wolf in North Korean TV. So there's usually some sort of moral or immoral story associated with what they put out. Like America is evil, or, we need to go to a certain country and kill off some group of people because they're our enemies and whatever else. It's really silly. And this one says North Korea TV, just your everyday story of cute, fluffy bunnies using an artillery piece to send a knife-throwing, hang-gliding wolf and his avian accomplice to their doom. So this is almost like Robot Chicken, but it's propaganda. If you can really imagine that. Alright, use the anti-aircraft gun there and kill them. It's really funny. Poor wolf. Did he really deserve that? Well, I guess he did throw knives at the bunnies, right? So, yeah, this is the kind of stuff you play in preschools in North Korea. So, says, I missed this one from earlier this week, just your everyday story of cute, fluffy bunnies stoning a wolf to death in a hole, then laughing about it afterwards. So, yeah, it's sad. Especially if they're showing these to kids, right? But if not, it's funny. And this could be on Adult Swim. So Brian made a comment, he says, but if grainy, splotchy is the look desired, like a zombie, pastel sounds interesting to randomize the skin layer. Yeah. Absolutely. Pastels you can use to do that, as well as like flocking powder. So yeah, this is kind of funny in a way that they just killed that wolf. It's only funny if it's for adults, but for little kids, it's just like, wow. So it says here, exact details about Bunny Brothers are elusive. It's hard to determine when it was created. The show has aired in recent weeks, yet appears vintage, with production values on par with the Burl Ives voiced Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer stop-motion animations from the 60s. I noticed that too, but it's definitely possible to make a film such as this in modern day with film. And North Korea, if they don't have the technology, I don't really know. I mean, they should be able to have digital cameras and Dragon Frame. Maybe like a pirated copy or something. So it says, the show is definitely amusing, but is it meant to be funny? Hard to say. The violence is quaintly reminiscent of Tom and Jerry. The beatings are brutal for sure, but hardly gruesome. There's no blood in the series of clips posted by Alistair Coleman at BBC Monitoring. He believes the show was produced by an animation studio that also churns out other kid-centric programs. The studio... My son is reminding me that it's past 9 o'clock. But anyways, it says that studio is called April 26th Animation Studio, and so prestigious that Kim Jong-un himself recently stopped by to praise its workers. They produced cartoons for Europe television and contributed to such titles as The Spaghetti Family and Papa Beaver's Story Time. So here he is looking at some animation, taking credit for it, I'm sure. It's a long article, but let's check this out here. There he is. So anyways, on that note, we will end our show, and I do want to thank all of you for stopping in and hanging out for 1 hour. And now next week we're going to work some more on Bad Apples. If you guys have any sort of things you would like to post on our site for Feedback Week, I'm going to make a forum thread right after this show, and I'm going to recheck to make sure that it actually posts properly this time, and you can post it there. So anyways, catch you guys all later.